Hello and welcome back everyone to the HogCast. Of course, another Hogs of War podcast episode coming up today. As you can see, I'm again not alone. I have a special guest today. It's Bobby. Bobby, tell us a bit about you.
Hello there. So I'm Bobby. Good to meet you all for the first time if you're watching for the first time. I've been in the Hogs of War game ever since 2009 when I first did Hogs of War as a Let's Play back in the day on a very old alias. Almost scored 100% and I received some pretty fairly good feedback from that community at the time. I'm more of a PC player now, so I play Hogs of War on the PC mostly. I'm sure Castor has some questions in regards to that, so we'll no doubt have those answered. I'm considered one of the more older fossils in the Hogs of War community, mainly just because I've been in the game, like in the Steam world, the universe of Hogs, for a very long time. Most people call me the Trickshotter. Again, Castor will no doubt have some questions about that one, and I'll have those answered. No question about that. Yeah, just a Hogs of War player from the southeast of the UK. Um, that's about it, really. I do a few things around Hogs. I do charity events. I do live streams. I upload videos. A bit of what the main community is doing nowadays.
I hope I
Of
don't
course,
forget to link your channel, otherwise, let me know in the comment, Bobby.
yeah.
So if I do,
No,
but yeah,
don't worry.
I
Don't worry.
will neither call you you old nor fossil, but it's right that you have been in the community for a very long time. You've been one of the first ones to join the Hogs of War Discord. You're making content for like nearly a decade now, I would say. Yeah, so you've got a lot of experience.
Hmm.
You know the game. So in some aspects, you know the game better than anyone I know, especially coming to pig voices and characters and everything. And yeah,
Yeah.
as we can all see on your screen, you got a big variety of a game collection there. Tell us a bit about the collection there.
Okay, so it all started. Where do I begin? I wanted to pick up some European and some American, as well as some Middle Eastern ports of the game. One of them you can see here is this one right here, and this is called a knockoff. I'm not sure if it's a knockoff as such because I haven't figured out all the filing and how it works. And but this is the main sort of relic here. I would call it a relic mainly because there's like one of however many, like in comparison to the English, the German, and the French, for example, that I have here in the collection. This one is considered more rare of a find, and I remember seeing it for the first time, thinking, "This is interesting. What could it be all about?" And then I looked at the game files and things, and they were all the same as the English version. But I haven't really dug in enough to really know enough about this. But I
So
consider
have you
this
tried
one.
booting it up to
I
run it on the
have,
PC?
I have, and the thing is, I did it through like through various versions like XP, Windows 10, Windows
Yeah,
7. Still couldn't get it to work, but I was able to access the files, and
yeah.
most of the files are the same as the English version.
Oh, okay.
Although, if I bring it into frame a little closer, you can sort of see. I'll bring it a little closer. You've got various differing text and some
Yeah,
some different screenshots, like compared to the regular standard hogs. Like I know the PC box art and the PSX box art, the back of them, they have very different images, like to describe the game in a nutshell. Like for example, the PlayStation version, you've got mainly PSX assets. Uh, like you can sort of see these four images just here, and there.
yeah.
The main images there, they're more PlayStation based. Whereas, for example, oh god, there it goes. Whereas on the PC version, for example, they're more based around PC graphics, so and more
Mm.
PC based aspects. Regularly, I'm more, like I say, I'm more of a PC player, but I do play both fairly regularly, mainly for the trick shotting. But
Yeah,
well,
we'll come to that
we'll
in a
talk about
moment.
it. We'll
Yeah,
come
and
to
I
that in a
also
moment.
see, of
Yeah.
course, I see the Hogs of War miniature game that just been released this year, and yeah,
Mhm.
that's a card
And
game, of course. That's been
yep,
there for quite a while, or for 2 years, I think, now, and the miniature game that just
yep.
got delivered by me a month ago. So yeah, it's nice to see. I guess one of the biggest Hogs of War collections out there.
There is actually a bit more in my collection. Like for
Okay.
example, I have it's not exactly framed, but it's just
Oh
basically
yeah,
a poster. The poster from like the way back in the 90s, where like slogans and like advertising was more like very out there and very like very generalized. It wasn't like very restricted in terms of like how they worded things
yeah,
and
of course.
the way they expressed and phrased things. Also, I have right here something that came to me about a year ago. I don't know if the camera can see it, so I'll bring it in a little closer.
Yeah,
Okay,
I love
so
this thing. It's just yeah, just looks so awesome.
yeah, this came to me. This came about to me. I found this on Instagram at one point. Um, for those who don't know, Hogs of War has a small Instagram following, and that's why I found the design originally. And I found it online and said I would like to buy one, and so they made it, and then it came to the door pretty quickly. About I think it shipped in 1 or 2 days, and then came about a couple of days after. So
Yeah, I guess it's
it's
that's true for the UK. It's for the rest of the world and
mm,
Europe will be a bit harder to get it, of
it's
course.
yeah. I'll admit postage is very awkward, or shipping to those in America, but we call it postage here. Postage is can be a bit hit and miss, so I
Oh.
understand that much.
Okay, but yeah, like we see, you're a big fan of the game, collector. You called yourself also a trickshot guy. I mean, everybody who watched some top tens from Pinstripe probably saw the one or other play from you there, or follow you on. I think the Steam Hogs of War Steam page is full of your trick shots. Yeah, you regularly have some of those.
Yeah.
Uh, how did you first? Oh,
Yeah,
the question I forgot to ask everybody is, what is your
mhm.
first experience with the game? How did you first get into the game? Just a quick answer.
Okay. Well, my dad did it for me from a friend, and then I played it from there. Originally, I played as Piggy Striker, and I remember it very well getting stuck on the spying game for quite a long time.
On the spying
And
game.
then I just on the spying game,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Originally it was Under Siege, and then I managed
Yeah,
to get through Under Siege, but then it was the spying game that really did my nutting. So
yeah.
I couldn't get past,
I can remember
couldn't really get
Under
past the
Siege
spying.
was a pretty hard stage for me as a kid as well. But yeah, thinking about it, spying game was also
Mm.
because you rarely ever were able to beat the pigs before the reinforcement dropped, and spies are like really
Oh
high
yeah.
level at this point, so I can see that.
Not only that, but like you have an outmatch, like outmatched in terms of like promotions, like the promotion table, like the enemy have it
Mm.
better than you do,
Yeah,
from
also
what I
your
can
starting
remember.
location isn't that good as either on the small island there. Yeah.
No, it's on a small island, yeah.
But
It,
going back to the trick shots, when did you first start making trick shots? What brought you into the trick shotting scene?
Hmm. Good question. I think my first ever trick shot. Now, I was ironically thinking about this earlier on this afternoon, but when by the day of recording, like this afternoon, I was thinking about it in my head this afternoon, and I always wanted to say that the first ever trick shot I did was in 2018. Contrary to self belief, I actually did the first one in late 2017, and this was when I was first experiencing with hex coding and the legends. Because as in the community for 2017, there wasn't much speak about the legends, and so when my friend, one of my friends out on the Eastern European side, his name is Nikolai, plug in for Nikolai here. Um, he gave me the code to access the
Oh, we get think a bit of lag spike here, so just interrupt here a bit. Um, okay, Bobby, we can't hear you at the moment, so please stand by. But maybe if I'm editing this, I will surely will forget. But it would be cool to like do such a you know, the old TV screen if the connection broke, like the some black and white and some color palette in the middle and like a high sound. So yeah, that would be cool, but I will surely forget or I will just be too lazy for it. But Bobby, you're back. So
Ah, yes.
so the
Um,
last thing you heard is Nikolai gave you the hex values.
oh yeah. So he gave me the hex values, and that was when I discovered the heavy machine gun shot. Swooped it around just above the name tag, and that's when it connected successfully. That was my first ever trick shot in like the history of ever. So, and that was in 2017. So I've been doing trick shotting for nearly 5 years now. I do it on and off 5 years, but I've gotten more into doing it more often and more regularly throughout the past few years. So
Yeah.
that,
I think getting yeah, just talk a bit more about trick shots, I guess for now. So,
Mhm.
for me, it always seemed like you kind of specialized on rifles or sniper rifles. Do you have the
yeah.
same feeling, or is it just me that noticed that?
What do you mean by that? Like, do I have like the same sort
Yeah,
of output like when I use rifles and sniper rifles?
no. I mean that you kind of specialize on them. That you kind of that they are favorites to do the trick shots. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
see a lot of rifling in your trick shots, so that you're kind of
Yeah.
specialized in that area.
Yeah. I try nowadays to do more various aiming rather than just sniper rifles and rifles. I'm trying to do pistols and heavy machine guns and machine guns. It's mainly the gun weapons, like the
Yeah,
aiming weapons you can do it with. Although you can do it with grenades, but you need specific settings, like specific environmental hazards and things like that before you consider grenade weapon like weapons like that. Grenades in particular, as I say, they require environmental hazards, and I've done a few of those in my time. They're the hardest to pull off because the mines can change anything about the grenade. For example, if you throw a grenade, hits a mine, it can make it go in any direction. So it could go that way, or that way, or that way. Like there's no real factor that could determine where a grenade lands after it hits a mine. So I think prior to that, I think I've been trying to do some more other trick shots other than just guns. Like I'm trying to do other trick shots as well, bazookas, grenades, sometimes aerial attacks like the fire rain airstrike. Some of those you can see on the channel. But yeah, I think I've been trying. I'm like I say, trying to do other weapons so that it's not as rifle or sniper rifle heavy.
but yeah, you enjoy them the most, I guess. Just not rifles, not rifles.
Oh yeah, and sometimes there can be a real challenge of like bullet momentum and how you line up a shot and things like that. Um, that there are some good trick shots that if you want to, we can talk about them. Or I'm sure I have something planned for that, which I'm sure we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, no.
Um,
The thing I wanted to ask you there is how much do you do there with save states? Or is it just reloading every time? Or when do
so
you make a save state or you just play the same turn over and over again? Or how do you how's your approach on something like that?
Well, it started off as just reloading a level because I was originally on PC and you can't really do save states on PC. You have to restart the level as such. So you have to go to the menu, exit, restart, take the shot again. It's like basically like a movie, a movie setup. But if you have an outtake, you just restart basically, and you take it from the top and do it like a second take or something. For PSX or PlayStation, now that we've discovered now that save states and everything, I don't like leaning towards save states, but I am guilty of using them. I will just say that I am guilty of using them. I think some of us are at this point. Not all of us, but some of us, because I know specific things can happen with save states, and there's I will just say that I am more prone now than I ever have been to using save states, so that's something to bear in mind, I
Yeah, I
guess.
mean it's also a time factor. If you do more trick shots, you can just bit of efficiency also of course in there. But yeah,
Yeah.
So what else? Oh yeah, the trick shot. I'm. Oh, it's not really a trick shot per se. It's more like a small trick I found on your Steam
Mm.
page, and I kind of remember that from time to time is when you use the shockwave. I think it was mission one. Because you
Oh, the
can
weapon
play.
crate.
Yeah, because you can play with the Legends outside of Mission 25 in the PC version, which is not possible
Yes.
in the PlayStation version, of course. We'll
Mm.
come to that later.
Naturally.
But you use that next to a crate to shockwave, and the
Yes.
crate gets blown away. So
Yeah. Mm.
that for me always was
I
the
guess like a selling point for me.
yeah, something like that. I mean, I watched a lot of your other tricks shots in the Steam page then, but the other thing was like I never knew that this was a thing in PC, that the crates
Mm.
are movable. So that was really a
Yeah.
surprise for me, and
Yeah.
that's what brought me a bit to dive in deeper in what is the
Mm.
difference between PC and the PCX version. But
Yeah.
are there other movable things in the PC version that aren't in the PSX?
Yeah, so you can move explosive and poison barrels. You can do that with any weapon that has explosive radius, like a grenade or a bazooka, or even a shockwave. You can move those about. I was experimenting with one of my mods that I made back last year. I want to say it was Bobby's mod version 2.0. Herped up, plugin for Herped up. He's played both of my mods and he's got videos on them on his channel. So go ahead and look at that if you want to. There's a trailer on my channel where I have a shockwave crate and I shockwave the spy, and the explosive crate moved with it, like in tandem. So the spy was there, moved off, and then the crate moved, and the barrel rather moved along with it. So technically speaking, yes, there are other elements that can be movable, like through explosive damage. And this is the biggest problem. Like in Mission 15, for example, say you want to complete Mission 15 in as few turns as possible with an airstrike. The thing with that is, if you got the airstrike in the position where you would normally attack the two spies and the pyrotechnic, um, the barrel moves like off to the more towards the cellar, so there's more of a chance of when it explodes that you'll destroy the wine cellar and won't get the bonus. Like you sort of have to see it in person to believe it. So
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely a thing that is worth checking out if you've never seen it before. It's really looks funny if you see this for the first time, in my opinion. Other than that, I just think there are other differences that are worth mentioning, like
mhm.
I think the biggest downfall of the PC version, and I think you will agree with me on
Yes,
that, maybe
oh yes,
is the pigs don't move.
yes, that is the biggest downfall, and that's what drives a lot of people away from the PC version. I feel that, and also Windows 10.
Oh yeah, I mean the compatibility is
Yeah,
not really that good. We can agree on
no,
that,
that's true.
but um
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
ju- just
I
just talk about the pigs a bit more. The don't move, and what really makes a difference then between this and the PSX version, like also in a strategic area.
okay. So I know that um, those that have like bazookas, for example, or weapons that have infinite usage, they will use those regardless, no matter where they are, no matter if you damage them. There's limited uses, unless given in specific environments. Like for example, Mission 10, Bangers and Mash. I think the scout on there only uses poison gas at close range. Still uses it on the hill, but his aiming is a lot less. It's a lot less stable. So by that I mean he'll just put a little less power than usual, and basically he will try to attack the pig that's closest. So I think with most of both PSX and PC, um, the pig that's they're closest to, they will attack. So if you're near a pig, that pig will attack the pig closest to them. And we've learnt that through like competitive and through gameplay and just generally playing the game, which I think in itself is more of a factor towards the PC version because the PC version there's less like mobility for the pigs, the enemy pigs. So there is the fact that there's less mobility and there's less range for them. So I think that's one of the factors that is different from the PC version, other than the fact they don't move.
Would you say
They have very limited range, I guess. Sorry, what was that?
Would you say it has less RNG overall than the PC PSX version? It's more predictable in a way what the animal was doing.
It can be at times. I think mostly, yes. Most of the time, it's a bit more predictable. That being said, there are the occasional moments where they will change their mind and they'll go for a different target. Not like in the same instance, but like they're thinking like so, and then they do something different compared to what you would expect. So I definitely think there is some form of RNG in there, but I think it's completely different compared to the PlayStation version. Mainly because of the fact the pigs move, so that's
Yeah.
something that I think changes the situation of the RNG on that front.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Then, so other things that are different, of course, it's the music that is different there.
Yes,
But let's not only focus on the flaws on the PC version, but otherwise like I wouldn't say really improvement. It's always how you see that kinda. I mean
like a unique
the
thing.
graphics overall, like they're pretty different. They're the
Yes.
good things like they have way more trees, like the
Oh yeah,
outside area
more
of the
more,
yeah. It just
yeah,
seems
more environment.
more environment exactly. Not only trees, they're
Mm.
cacti, how
Cacti,
cact
cacti,
cactus a plural
cacti.
of cactus.
I think so. Cacti. I think so.
Okay, there are more than one
more,
cactus
more,
around. Sometimes a bit more windmills. Think of
yeah,
barrels in Mission 6. Also some a bit more like decorations
yeah.
as well. So
Oh yeah.
that's kinda nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm
There's
definitely favoring it. But
there's
what do
I
you?
think
Sorry, Bobby. What want to
I
say?
was just gonna say that there's more like objects like on
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the fields rather than your basic PSX. But yeah,
What would you say because the graphics overall or the pick design? What is your favor on the pick design, the PC or the PlayStation?
that's a good question. Originally, I was just a PC boy. Like I was like religious to the PC version, but like now that we've discovered like textures and on the PlayStation version, those are much better in my opinion. For one thing, I do know for a fact that one of the Legends textures on the PC version is missing. Specifically, his left arm. There's just a massive gap, like a massive like see-through gap, so you can see that like when he turns like in motion and that's one of the main texture issues of the PC version. Not necessarily an issue, but just like a difference. Like on the PlayStation version, it's not as obvious. Like it's I guess it's how do I word this? Like you can sort of see it on the PC version, but on the PlayStation version, it's less visible. And as we were saying, you can play the Legends on the PC version. You can notice a few different things. For example, the Team Lard Legends, they have a red backpack and a red stripe
Yeah, the Team
rather than a
Lard
green
is
one.
in
And the
general.
same thing goes for hair. Hmm.
Team Lard in general is like all the green is substituted to that strange red, like salmon, even like is salmon the color I'm
I'm
referring
in
to
red,
that one.
yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
I
true.
think that
Yeah.
doesn't really fit at all. So I'm used to that nice emerald green kinda
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
I think it's just looking way better than this red.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
the biggest downside of the pick.
yeah.
Also, the graphics are like mm, they definitely look
They're more
better back in the
advanced
day. Yeah, they're more like polished. I
for
would
its
say yeah.
time. For its, well,
For its
polished for its
time,
time, yeah.
when it came out, sure the PC version looked better, but nowadays, The graphics, they're both graphics are outdated on the PC and the PlayStation version, of
Yeah.
course. But for the PlayStation
Yeah.
version, these kind of graphics, is a kind of pixelated graphics, are more like old school
Mm.
retro, and we are more
Oh yeah.
used to them than to this
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
weirdly 3D models of the PlayStation PSX version, so the PC version. So I guess
Yes.
for us nowadays, the PlayStation version just looks a bit better. Also for me, of course,
Yeah.
nostalgia is a effect in there, but I guess it was different back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, a
Oh yeah. Oh
big
yeah. Nostalgia. Oh yeah. Nostalgia is a big factor.
big change for me also in some multiplayer maps. Like I don't know why,
Yes.
but Death Bowl got some guided missiles.
Yes. I think
And
that's online multiplayer
yeah,
exclusively.
online multiplayer exclusively. I don't know why they did that, and I haven't.
Mm.
I think I have only played 2 or 3 online multiplayers on the PC version of the game. That was very tedious to
That
set
was with
up.
you. That was with you and me and one other person. I think we were
Yeah,
trying
exactly.
that,
That's a
and
long time ago, and I was so confused. But the other thing, I think that's not online exclusive, is Square Off.
mm. Oh, Square Off. Yeah, that's a big one. That's
Yeah,
the
but
biggest
what's the difference in
change.
Square Off? I don't know if everybody knows. Explain for us, probably.
Okay, so with PlayStation 1 Square Off, you basically have a water ravine bank type thing with two islands, one here and one here, like in a slash, say, like a backward slash. Um, on the PC version, they got rid of 90% of the water, and the only water particles you see are in small corners of the staircases on the map. So technically there is water there, but it's like 90% reduced, like in comparison to the PlayStation
Like, can
version.
you even fall into the water, or is it just like texture?
You,
Okay.
you can you can fall in the
Mm.
water, like in those staircase corners, but on like the
Uh,
non-existent, actually nothing there.
so would you guess that was planned, or is it more like an accident?
Good question. I would argue by accident or removed by accident, because that's not normal to say that you can do, but it makes the competitive side of it a little bit weaker, in my opinion. Not to say that Square Off on the PC is bad, but like
Yes, it makes
there's
it
there's
just
more.
easier to traverse, I guess.
Yeah, easier to traverse, and you don't have to worry about water damage all that much because it's
Yeah.
just so 90% reduced. But yeah, that's a big one, Square Off. Another,
I have other maps where there are changes, and just not
yes.
like real changes, not just the optical side, but like on the map.
Oh yeah, I know for a fact that Friendly Fire, which is everybody's favorite map, um, some of the spawns are changed. Two pigs spawn on the outer like rim, like the outer perimeter. So not all of your pigs are like in the center of the minefield. I think that was a feasible and a much better idea in my opinion, because then you had like more opportunities to sort of escape. So there is that. Friendly fire being one of them. Ice flow is another one where all of the water is poison, and even like in the like next to the building, not on like the slopey side, but on the back side. Um, there is actual poison water everywhere. It's not just on one side; it's actually all over the map. Um, so there's that. Just trying to see if there's anything else. Death Ball, we talked about the guided missiles on online exclusive multiplayer, which really isn't exclusive. Although, like I say, it was what it was for its time. What else is there? Square we've done. Um, I think that's really the main ones. I think. I
Yeah.
think Ridgeback. I think the Ridgeback one may have a pig civilian. I'm not 100% on that, but
Oh yeah, the civilian pick. That's a big
um,
thing in single player. Like it's in
the civilian.
mission 4 and 21, or?
It's mission 6, mission 21. No, mission
Ah,
5, mission 6,
five,
mission
yeah, five
21.
as well. Not
Mission
four.
5. That's okay. Mission 5, mission 5, mission 6, mission 21. I don't think if there's any
Yeah,
others. I
it's so
don't think
strange.
there
It's
is. I think
5, 6, and
I'm
21.
sorry.
Like you see it 2 times in a row, and then like
Yeah, it's just
then
nothing
again,
until
yeah.
at the very end. Yeah, yeah, and I think the civilian pig, while it shows personality in some way, I wish like you could play as a civilian pig, maybe in some form of capacity, or like have the ability to interact with them. But I think that may slow down the game. So I do appreciate the idea of the civilian pig. I just wish like maybe there was some way to make it better. Like not as like maybe make it either more appear more frequently, or just like maybe have a social interaction situation with it, like like they do with like worms, for example. Like in like I hate to bring up worms here, but like in cutscenes, for example, where they give you a bit of a mission briefing, like in a cutscene style. So maybe stuff like that could have been. Although I imagine that would have been a thing in like prehistoric alpha or beta. Pinstripe would know about that,
Yeah,
maybe.
I guess the problem is I don't know if they had the capacity at that time to do like the
Hmm.
briefing cutscenes.
Yeah, I know some games do that, like some old 90s and noughties computer games, like
Yeah, of
PlayStation
course,
games, they
but
have that. But of course,
you know,
this was like, way back in like, when video games were starting to become a thing. Well, PlayStation was more becoming a thing, and then it was coming to the end of an era, and then PlayStation 2 was coming in, so I guess it was around that time where things were starting to change. So I guess maybe the developers weren't ready for that yet, but
I
it's
mean, we have the cutscenes between the
yes.
yeah between the islands and after the game, of
Yeah.
course, and
Yeah, I
the
mean,
intro as well. So we got a bunch of cutscenes that are pretty nice.
I will just say the frame rate on the cutscenes is a lot smoother in comparison to the PlayStation version, and
Oh, I can imagine that. Yeah.
that's just mainly due to like the software and like the
Are the cutscenes
interface.
the same?
Yes, they're basically the same thing. Although I will say one thing has changed. In the final cutscene where you have Albert Potter, instead of it having a circular motion that sort of zooms out like so,
Yeah.
you just have a simple fade in. So there's that.
Okay.
There's that. Yeah. And there is the sound effects and some other bits as well that are different too.
Yeah, but only small details.
Oh yeah, very small details. Yeah, it's basically your standard middle of the run, but just with slightly different details. And yeah,
Do you have any other infos about the info? There's no info in infos as an info. Oh, information is also always singular.
I think so. Always. Yeah, I don't think there's any new information in that.
Can yeah no, but can you say Can you say infos like info for short for information?
Infos. What do you mean by that exactly? What
Yeah,
like
like
in briefing or?
no, like if you say, is there any other information you can share with us about that? Can you say is there any other
Oh,
info? Is info
oh
short
yeah.
in English for information?
Oh, sorry, I got confused for a minute
Yeah,
then. Yeah, so about the PC version, or
yeah.
okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
Anything else we haven't talked about that PC version you want to mention?
Um, there are a couple of things I will mention. One of them is a lot smaller than the other one, but the second one is quite substantial in terms of modding. But I'll start off with the basic one first of all. Some of the voice lines are different for the sergeant, specifically in the training. For example, just to coincide with PC controls, like for example, instead of saying press the circle button, press the menu button to view the equipment. And for example, press fire instead of press the X button and that sort of thing. Because the PC version has like aligned buttons, much like the PlayStation version, but it's on like keyboard. So they try to, I guess, make it more universal so that whatever your buttons are, like on the keyboard, they don't just say, "Oh, press the enter button" or "press the space bar." Like you have the ability to option to adjust the controls, which I think is a good idea. But I think at the same time, I think whilst you have the ability to adjust them, I think the ones on the PC version they're absolutely fine. Or I will just say it's more focused on the right hand side of the keyboard rather than using the whole keyboard entirely. But as I say, you have the ability to adjust that if you wish. So there is that. The other thing I wanted to mention, and this is specifically about modding, there are four classes you can add, and they're basically multiplayer classes. You can add those into the game via hex editing, and it's only strictly for AI, but you have that option as well. I will just say they behave very weirdly sometimes because they're specifically designed for multiplayer, and sometimes they don't do anything for however many goes. Even if they get given free crates like bazookas and airstrikes and all sorts, they still very rarely use them. So I will say that as well, that there are some extra, like, there's some extra content in there that you can use if you wish, like the four ranks in particular, that being Grenadier, Gunner, Sapper, and Scout, like in multiplayer settings, hence me saying Grenadier. And there's also like, I think there's also like, what else is there? I think modding in general is just easier, in my opinion. I mean, granted, the PSX version you've got more like lines and more coding to go through, and you can do things a bit more specifically and more directly. But with like the PC version, the hex files are very, very detailed. So you've got like you don't just have like one big spaghetti code. You've got pigs, you've got crates, you've got environment, you've got explosives, you've got reinforcements, and you can adjust those any way you like. And you can even spawn in medals as well if you kill certain pigs, which I think is a quite a nice touch.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to modify the PC version, then I say give it a shot because you'd be surprised to see what you can find in there.
Yeah, that's really good to know, and guess a lot of people out there didn't know that, and yeah, good to spread that information a bit. Um,
Yeah.
so I think we're pretty much done with the PC version for now.
hmm
I think we can also talk like you have been in the server for a long time. Yeah,
Was I 13th or 15th? I was just trying to remember.
I was 13th, so I guess you were
So,
15th.
15th, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think was it like late 2018 you joined the Discord?
Yes, I think it
Uh,
was like 2018 because at the time the Hogs of War Discord was used as a speed running Discord. I remember that very specifically because when I went in, it was coded with a lot of speedrunners like you, Crumble, Top Hat, and a couple of others from the time, and you were all focusing on speedrunning the game, and you were doing very
yeah.
well. And then I think the
And
community
then you
just
came and everything changed.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say everything changed. Like
Yeah.
once we had like actual people coming in, like we had Pinstripe coming, we had Herpderp, Axby, ADB, Fab, all those people that came in, and it just brought like it just basically created like this new hub that we could call like our Hogs of War home of all things hogs. So
Yeah.
I do remember speaking a lot about like modding at that time, so I was very heavily into that. But yeah, I learned to calm down once Pinstripe and Herpderp came along, and we talked about a wider variety of things in that point. So yeah.
Something I wanted to mention there is that you, of course, since you've been there so long, you have also taken part in a lot of community events.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about your own charity event in a bit.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But first, about a bit more competitive. You've taken part in some competitive games, leagues, and everything.
Yeah.
But you never referred yourself as being a really that competitive guy. Tell us
Hmm.
about a bit about it.
I guess I guess I play it for fun. Even though like sometimes I like to call myself borderline semi-pro or semi-competent. I guess that's not me being cocky. That's just or arrogant. That's just me, like based on my experience. But I know that there are a lot more guys out there in the competitive community that have more skill and more like game sense, awareness, and a couple of other things too. Like I say, I'm more of a play it for fun, and if I win, I win, and if I lose, I lose. It's not too much of a problem. I did improve on season 2 by 1 win, um, and ironically, Axby was one of my matches I won because he was the only one I won against in season 1 after being 1-0 down, and then the very long-winded Dam Busters on our first match. And I'm sure Pinstripe could vouch for that. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think I remember one of the things I did for fun in season 2 was do that pistol trick shot. I was just like, I'm just gonna go for it, just go floor it and see what happens. Like I don't really call myself a competitive guy, even though like I'm competitive natured in myself. Like I like to have fun. As Pinstripe put it in the top 10 against my match against Iron Fox. And just trying to remember what he said. He said in my match against Iron Fox in season 1 that input lag has been like I've suffered occasionally from input lag, but I've never really let it phase me, and I've never really let like anything like that goes against me phase me. And that Pin said that I'm a very fun character, loving character, likes to have Hogs of War as much as fun as possible. Have fun with Hogs of War as much as possible. So yeah, I wouldn't call myself competitive as much as I would call myself just a guy that loves the competitive scene and wants to learn going forward, just in case something
Yeah.
should happen and I get a bit more competitive over time.
So I guess, but there's also a reason you'll take a break from this Hogs of War League season, right?
Yeah, that, and I want to do a few other things as well. We'll
Mm.
talk about those in a minute. Um, but
Yeah.
I think I will come back in season 4. Just need to take a break from it because I wasn't sure whether to take a break in season 2 and come back in season 3, or take a break in season 3 and come back in season 4. So
Yeah.
I do think, yeah, I do
But
think having a break may help me learn a few techniques and tricks so that when I come to season 4, I can be a bit more, competitive.
but I guess it's a perfect time now to talk about your charity event.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called
Yes.
Hogs for Gosh, if I'm pronouncing that
Yep,
correctly.
that is correct. Yep.
What's that all about?
So this ties back into my current job. For those you don't know, I currently work in hospitality, and we support a charity through our workplace. And I've been supporting them ever since 2015. So far, I've managed to raise 9,000, just about 9,000 for the charity, like off my own terms, doing events that I love, such as events at work, events at home. One of the big ones is walking. Like I'm a huge sort of strider, like walker type of person. I do a lot of walking. And one day last year, I wanted to take part in a charity event under the charity brand, but under what they call the gaming category of that brand, and it was called Geek Out for Gosh. And it was basically you play a video game, you raise money for charity, you raise awareness for charity, and that's where the idea came about. And originally, I wanted to stream it in September of last year, but I ended up streaming it way later. Like it was really overcooked in terms of time. Um, so I streamed it back in May, just a week after my birthday, and I managed to raise £300 with my target of 250. So I did manage to exceed it, which
Nice.
was great. And I like to bring it back again in Christmas this year. I haven't guaranteed it yet, but I'm still working on that one, but if all goes according to plan, I would like to do a 12-hour live stream one day, for 12 hours, um, and just raise more awareness for the charity. Like just as a one-day event, like
Yeah.
an event for fun. Not really focusing on reaching any goals or anything like that. Just do it for fun. Like, have a fun time and just play the game and talk about my experiences and yeah, just genuinely show my compassion for the game, I guess.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
sounds really nice, and it's always good to yeah promote that. And as you know, in the Hawks community, we always promote and appreciate charity events.
plug
And
in plug in for Pin here
yeah, with
his
ranking.
rank up
Yeah,
series.
we
Yeah.
always try to have like
Mm.
yeah, like charity events and just help out the communities.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Good.
And I learned I learned that from Pin a little bit. I was inspired by Pin to do my own sort of one for charity. So yeah, I guess I have Pin to really sort of shake his hand with and say thank you for your help. Because without him, I don't think it would have been possible. Like his
Yeah.
inspiration gave me the boot I needed, basically, so to speak.
So, Bobby, do you have any other topics you'd like to talk about?
I guess creating a universe for characters. I guess because I have two friends, one that lives locally to me and one that lives in Serbia in Eastern Europe. I often say to them, "Hello there. I don't suppose you have any artwork, art commission slots going?" And most of the time they do. And I say to them, "Okay. I was wondering if you could create X, Y, or Z, like pig characters." And like art related to hogs, like just to give it a bit more like personality for like the game. So that's something I was that I'm kind of interested in, like creating a universe for hogs, like comics or like characters or like thumbnails or like just any form of art. And I get that through the help of my friends, like my artist friends, and sometimes I do a few of my own. So there is that. So I do a bit of art every now and then.
Yeah,
Um,
mainly how's it called? The crafting with the small
oh yeah, yeah,
pieces.
the cubes and
Yeah.
the squares. Yeah, I used to do that quite regularly
Do you
during the
have
COVID
something here to
season.
show us from that?
Um, Just trying to think. I don't think I do. I
Ah,
did
okay.
at one point. I don't think I do, but I did at one point. I guess. I'm not sure if I have anything here.
No, no
We're going.
worries, no worries.
I'd say we're gonna go undercover, and I was gonna grab out some stickers, but I'm sure if you go in the Hogs Award Discord, you can find out. So I do a lot of
You
art
can find
and do
out or
some
just
art.
tag Bobby. He will gladly show you his work.
Yeah, and my friends' work for that matter too. Because
Yeah,
without them,
of course.
and without my friends, like
Mm.
my two artist friends, I don't think
Yeah,
this
you
would have been
always
possible to create the
also mention
universe.
them when you post something new, so it's really nice from
Mm.
you to yeah mention who created that and not claim it as your own.
Yeah, because I think that's like the more like righteous thing to do. Give
Yeah.
credit to the artist rather than say, "Oh, look, you made this." It's like you don't want to steal artwork and you don't want to take credit for it when it's not your own. So yeah, I definitely need to give a plug in to my two artist friends if they're watching. I don't know if they are, but if they are, then yeah, just say thank you very much because you guys are amazing.
Good. But I think that wraps everything up pretty well.
Hmm.
Yeah, we talked about your passion, the PC version, your big skill, the trick shots. Yeah, a bit about your events, what are you doing? Yeah, how long have you been around and everything. So, anything you would like to say to our viewers or listeners
Yeah.
at the end here?
So yeah, of course. So I will just say I do have two YouTube channels. One of them is my name, my real life name, Bobby Ghostly, and the other one is the Hogs for Gosh. I will just say on Hogs for Gosh, I try to post sort of more unique content. Something I would consider, for example, I posted a video on unobtainium of Hogs of War, and I wanted to put it on the Hogs for Gosh channel because I think that would be better because I don't classify it as like personal channel material. So if you want to look about, I do have two channels, Bobby Goatsley and Hogs for Gosh. Hopefully Castor will link them in the description. There's also various social medias you can contact me at. I've got Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, TikTok. sadly. um,
I
Discord.
will not link that.
No, no, don't, because it's just festered with other things. But I would just say, do a bit of a gander and do your research because you never know what you can find on the Hogs of War topic on like the Hogs of War universe. So definitely look into your social medias because you'd be surprised as to what you can find. So yeah, that's what I have to say really, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and thanks a lot, Bobby, for being here as yeah, another guest in this podcast. I will enjoy this
anytime.
this talk with you here.
Excellent, and hopefully the next one will be just as exciting.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I don't know who will be my next guest. Maybe if you write something down in the comments, you could be the next one. Otherwise, I will just yeah,
Yeah, type into the
we'll
comments,
see who will be the lucky one.
so
Okay,
to speak. Yeah. Okay. Take care, everyone.
goodbye.